I didn't realize this at the time, but this actually all started in 2008, in May of 2008. My husband and I were living in Argentina, and we both got really ill. And I don't know if it was food poisoning or from water. My husband got really sick. He had to leave dinner one night. I came home from dinner a little bit later, and within a few hours, I was also feeling awful, really sick, flu-like symptoms, diarrhea, throwing up. After that illness, my digestion just was never really the same afterwards. I'd always been very healthy and also led a very healthy lifestyle, practiced yoga, ate healthy foods. So I went to the flexible sigmoidoscopy appointment, and she found a lump, or found my tumor actually, about 9 centimeters up in my rectum. She took a biopsy. And she said, okay, we found something. I took a biopsy, go home. There should be a little more bleeding, nothing crazy. If it persists for more than an hour or two, give us a call. And she gave me a phone number. Well, I went home and was bleeding a lot because of the amount of laxative. I was just purging all of my liquid stores. And because they had done the biopsy, that little bit of blood turned into a lot of blood. So I ended up going to the emergency room. And they had to do 2 blood transfusions. They admitted me to the hospital, and I thought that was my worst nightmare because I had never been in a situation like this. I'd never had an IV before. I had never been around hospitals like this. And I woke up the next morning in the hospital, and they told me that the biopsy came back and that I had rectal cancer. And at that time, I was 31 years old. My husband and I had just gone off birth control in July. We were just about to start planning a family. And so this news was devastating to me. After seeing the surgeon, he said the surgical procedure would be, after 6 weeks of chemo and radiation, there would be a 6-week healing time, and then they would do initial surgery where they would cut an inch above the tumor on both sides, redirect my small intestine to create an ileostomy bag so that my rectum could heal. So I would be on an ileostomy bag for 3 months. And then at that time, they would go back in and do a second surgery to put me all back together. So basically it would be 6 months, pretty much bedridden. There was also a chance, because of the radiation done beforehand, that the wound would never properly heal and that I would be stuck with an ileostomy bag for the rest of my life. When I spoke to the oncologist and the radiologist, all they had to say to me was, you're 31 and we don't know what to do. 31-year-olds don't get rectal cancer. I didn't like that the plan was the same for me no matter what, that there was nothing that I could do. I was asking them what I should eat, what I shouldn't eat. And they said, eat whatever you want, eat whatever sounds good. Ice cream, French fries, saltine crackers. When I talked to the radiologist, he said, your digestion is going to be tough. You're probably going to be experiencing a lot of diarrhea. So I would stay away from fresh fruits and vegetables and whole grains, and just try to keep your diet really simple. And I thought, well, all I eat is fresh fruits and vegetables and whole grains. And how is my body supposed to heal if I'm just eating junk? It had me make an appointment with a gynecological oncologist. And he was very clear with me when I went in to see him that the radiation in that area would almost surely destroy my ovaries, and also create a condition in my uterus so that it wouldn't ever expand and contract correctly. So even if my ovaries weren't ruined, my uterus would be, so I would never be able to carry a child. The secondary side effects of both treatments were secondary cancer from the treatments themselves within 10 years. So I thought, I get to do this all over again before I'm 40, or by the time I'm 40? I don't think so. So my parents were with me at that appointment, and they knew that I was looking at other methods. And so my mother asked the surgeon, what if Sara doesn't do any of these treatments? What can she expect? And the surgeon told her that I would probably be dead by July, which was almost 2 years ago. This last year and a half of my life has been the best year of my life, because I have fully become myself and become so much more true to myself. And I'm physically in a better place than I've ever been in my life. And I don't think many people expect that someone with a cancer diagnosis or with cancer in their body would have that to say. But it's only made me stronger in every way. But I was put into contact with a doctor in Scottsdale, Arizona, Dr. Jeff Drobot, who is also a biological medicine doctor. He's a naturopath. And I saw him in July of 2012. And he was pretty amazing at getting all of the inflammation in my digestive system is completely gone. My internal flora is balanced. My thyroid, my tonsils, everything that had been an issue before. So Dr. Drobot in January told me, Sara, you're looking really good. The last MRI I had done in September showed that the tumor had shrunk a little bit. If you really want to knock out the cancer or focus on that, your body is ready for it. So I recommend that you talk to my friend, Dr. Tony Jimenez. He's doing some amazing things with BX antitoxin and cancer at his clinic in Tijuana. So I immediately went home and started researching the BX antitoxin. It seemed like the perfect thing for me, especially because I believe that my cancer did start from a bacterial something, from something that was in food or water or a parasite or, something invaded my system. On March 18th of this year, I went to the Hope for Cancer Clinic in Tijuana for 3 weeks. I've been on the BX for just under 6 weeks. And my numbers are looking really good. So my tumor is relatively small, but on the first day of the injection did sting. I've had a lot of needles in the last couple of years, and it really, I was kind of surprised, not like the needle hurt or anything, but I could really feel the BX going into my system. And then the first 3 days while I was on the oxygen, the most that I noticed was I was just tired. I had a little bit of like muscle weakness, like where it's hard to grip things, or at that time I was just doing like the infrared sauna. So after the infrared sauna, I would notice like little rashes on my arms or on my legs that were kind of itchy that would go away. This whole time since I've had the diagnosis, I've had blood in my stool, or I've had bleeding the whole time. That started to change almost immediately after the BX injection. It was a little bit more blood for a while, but it seemed like there was more tissue involved. It was stringy. It was just different. I could tell that there was something going on because the quality had totally changed. And there were times, when it wasn't just involved with a bowel movement. The consistency of it changed completely. Yes, there was actual tissue involved with the blood. It wasn't just blood, but it was actual tissue. Now, actually, for the first time, sometimes there is no blood. And sometimes it's more like old blood, like darker, like a scab has like almost scabby, or like it's, I'm reporting the CEA tumor marker. When I got to the Hope for Cancer Clinic, my number was 15. When I left the clinic 3 weeks later, and it was only 1 week after my BX injection, my initial LDH number when I arrived at the Hope for Cancer Clinic was 360. When I left 1 week after the first BX injection, it was 288. And when I took the test April 25th, about 2 weeks after I got home from the Hope for Cancer Clinic, it was 118. And he said with that low LDH number, there's hardly a chance, that there's any cancer floating around in my system. And then I also saw in my CRP value that the inflammation had gone down, and I'm now in normal range, whereas I was above normal range when I first came to the Hope for Cancer Clinic before my BX injection. I believe also my sedimentation rate is within normal range. I've been impressed with how quickly that I've seen improvements in my numbers. I mean, I've been on the BX for 6 weeks, and I'm hoping, or I'm 99% confident and sure that the next test that I get will show that I'm cancer-free. And I've done 1 injection, and that's kind of crazy. I've been working hard and really diligent about becoming cancer-free for the last year and a half. And all of a sudden in 5 weeks, here I am at the end. Thank God, I mean, it's kind of surreal, actually. And I've had so much amazing support in the last 6 weeks. I am kind of blown away by how much I feel like I don't have to do it all myself anymore. I've been so taking my own healthcare taking it into my own hands for so long that all of a sudden I feel like I have a team that I can trust.